139 years ago, President Abraham Lincoln looked out at his wounded nation as he stood on a once beautiful field that had become its saddest and largest burial ground. Then it was Gettysburg. Today it is the World Trade Center, where we gather on native soil to share our common grief.
Except
Governor George E.
139 years ago, we're talking 1863?
Giuliani up there.
That's the Civil War.
That's when Lincoln.
Well, I don't know, comparing our own fight with ourselves.
Ruin a democracy, Drew.
Except he's comparing a fight within ourselves to someone who's attacked us from abroad. Right?
What else you got? I bet Giuliani wouldn't have done that.
Don't care for the analogy at all.
Giuliani wouldn't have presented it like that. Who is this guy anyway?
We have busted so many radio stations for violating the moment of silence.
I think that's terrible. Just disgusting.
Jim
Johnson of our own company, of our own sister station.
Did he not get the memo?
Jim Harper?
Harper?
Wait a minute.
His moment of silence?
You mean to tell me Harper did not observe the minute of silence?
Allegedly?
There was some music going on or something. Boy.
Are you going to pop around the TV station? I'm just curious to see what people are doing on television. No, we've busted all the radio stations. Who else did
Can't believe how much disrespect is all over the countryside.
Was 95.5 in commercials or in?
No, they actually did.
They were selling. How about?
She was playing the TV.
Oh, okay, so they had
in the minute of silence.
Right.
Okay.
What about
disrespect reigns supreme?
The AMs? Were you able to check the AMs?
No.
Okay. I know you can't pick up AM anymore.
Well, what
is AM still on? Do they even make AM radios anymore?
Here's the problem: if you're underneath it, if you're under an overpass, it's silent anyway.
Did you know they don't even make AM radios anymore? They put out, like in the car, you only get FM now. They stopped making AM radios. Yeah, it's so absolutely out of it that they don't even make AM radios anymore.
Are you serious? Or are you
I don't know why they broadcast.
You're genius.
I don't know why they broadcast on AM anymore. It's the silliest thing.
Wait, how about AM stations that play music? Swear to God. Swear to God.
It's unbelievable.
Did you believe it?
Who's the guy going?
It's the worst.
Well, I'll tell you, this FM ain't bad, but I got to go with AM for my music.
I'm telling you.
I can't get any big band on FM.
That's got to be the worst. That's got to be the worst. I ran into country music once on an AM.
Okay, let's see who has the most inappropriate television show on.
CBS. That cartoon's inappropriate.
CBS. Well, but for kids, ESPN. Oh, ESPN's carrying the ceremony.
Well, isn't the Food Channel going to go dark today? A couple of them. Aren't they going to burn up a recipe?
NBC has Pataki. Is Pataki the right guy to have on right now?
No, hell no. Pataki Milwaukee. Nobody knows who Pataki Milwaukee is.
Last night's special, before we start our rebroadcast of 9/11/01, and we'll start at the beginning, by the way. Drew Mike at WRF.com. His email, 313-298-WRF if you want to call in. We're getting a lot of positive feedback. People are seem to be enjoying the rebroadcast, although one clown. Where's this cat?
There's always one.
Let me find this jerk.
There's always got to be one clown, you know that.
Kristen says, your broadcast today is awesome. Thanks for doing it. We've seen this attachment before. It's very powerful and still unbelievable. And then she has one of the infamous 9/11 emails. Man, don't you think we've had enough of this? We know what happened a year ago.
Oh, brother.
How's Mike's ball blow drying going?
Jeez. Nice.
9/11. MTV is playing Puff Daddy right now.
Oh, inappropriate.
In a minute, we're going to play a piece that's going to blow your mind. It's a guy who was looking at the plane as it hit the building.
That's amazing.
In the South Tower, correct?
Yeah.
Before that, we've had a few moments of levity here, which is probably a good one for what you're about to hear. This woman, last night, widow, was on the NBC special. They were tracking people who went to the World Trade Center that day, some of whom came out alive, some of whom didn't. It was really well done. And they were tracking Osama bin Laden's movements.
Yeah.
They started when, Mark, like 93 or 92?
Yeah.
And they would take these people who ended up in the World Trade Center on 9/11, and they tell you what they were doing at that time. They'd have pictures. That summer they went on a vacation to blah, 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 and things were better than ever. Their third child was on the way, and so-and-so. And you sort of know what's coming, except originally I thought they're all going to die. They're telling you at the same time what Osama bin Laden's doing, and then they get close to the end, and they get to this one guy who was in the World Trade Center who I was certain was going to die, and he was looking at the plane coming right at him, and he lived.
Yeah.
He lived, didn't he?
Yeah,
Can you believe that?
There's another guy who started out on the 96th floor. And do we have a phone call from the 96th floor, Mark? Is that where we start?
That's where we start.
Okay.
You had to leave phone messages. That's right here.
This is his first phone message.
8:55, 9 minutes after the impact. On the 98th floor, Sean Rooney called his mom in Buffalo. "Don't worry," he said. "I'm fine. It wasn't my building." Then he tried Beverly at work.
Received September 11th at 8:59
Beverly is his wife.
a.m.
Hey, Beverly, this is Sean. In case you
This is exactly 1 year ago. It's
get this
8:59.
message, there's been an explosion in World Trade 1. That's the other building. It looks like a plane struck it. It's on fire at about the 90th floor, and it's horrible. Bye.
9:02, 16 minutes after impact. A second hijacked plane was now steering a course straight for the Twin Towers. At that very moment, a calm-sounding Sean was leaving Beverly still another message.
September 11th at 9:02 a.m.
Yeah, honey, this is Sean again. Looks like we'll be in this tower for a while.
Sean paused to listen to another announcement that again urged workers in his tower not to worry. The fire was in the other tower.
It's secure here.
And I can hear in the background, if conditions on your floor warrant, you may wish to begin an orderly evacuation.
I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Can you believe that someone used such poor judgment in sending a message to people on these floors that, hey, this explosion in the other building, you slackers, don't even think of walking out of here.
That's just so typical. That is just so disgustingly typical.
It is.
Of so many of these corporations.
It's just taking...
Oh, it's just like, God forbid, there just can't be a second of lost production. It's just got to be, everything is fine. Just, even when they're not even informed, it's just like, everything is fine, return to your desk, get back to work, get back to work, get back to work.
Well, we know from what happened with buildings that surrounded the Twin Towers that just because your building is not necessarily immediately affected, of course it's affected. Well, those buildings weren't that far apart. In fact,
that's what I was going to say. It's like right next to it.
There's a story in USA Today where a woman is talking about the heat effect she felt from the other building.
Of course.
In the South Tower when that was going on. And there are other people who were told that they could return to work and that it was in the other tower. They were on their way out. They were very scared. And this woman remembered previously, was it the World Trade Center bombing where she had to make up the hours?
Yep.
Because she left early?
Absolutely.
How could
unforgivable.
Be so ridiculous. So, of course, she went back up and cost her life.
Yeah, well, it happened like crazy. And reading that story, one of the biggest things that caused those people to say, hey, the heck with this announcement, was when they looked out the window and saw some people jumping. And when they saw some people jumping off that building, then it was like, oh, I am out of here. And as you say, not to mention the fact that this building right next to you can almost reach out the window and touch it, could very well fall right into yours. It's just so irresponsible.
To have a trauma in front of you like that, to be looking out your window at undoubtedly floors upon floors of people who are going to die, some of whom are jumping out of the windows and suggest that, hey, you know what, it's just another day at work, relax.
Yeah, just take it easy. It's not your problem, ladies.
And the lack of foresight in terms of whether or not they were safe also caused some people to go back upstairs for their Palm Pilots.
Right,
Dave players, things like
whatever. Yep, that's
And
true.
USA Today, in tracking them, found that a number of these people died as well.
Sure.
But back to our friend Sean, who was on the 96th floor when he left messages for his mother in Buffalo and his wife Beverly. She got the. I guess we can just continue on here, can't we? Does it tell what she's thinking as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Did you assume, hearing that he was on his way out of the door?
Yes.
He'd left that last voicemail only a few moments before the airliner hit.
Tried to call him, of course, and couldn't get through. So I just flew out the door and flew home, turned the TV on, and just waited there.
It had been a half an hour since Sean's last message. Now, finally, his voice was on the line again.
Just like, Sean, yes, where are you? And he said, I'm on the 105th floor.
Oh, boy.
That wasn't good.
Beverly's heart sank. Sean was coughing and gasping for air. Did he tell you about trying to get out at that point?
Yeah. Well, I asked him, I said, 105th floor. I mean, he works on 98, so, I immediately said, well, what happened? Why are you there?
Sean told Beverly he had tried to go down, but after walking about 30 floors, the heat and smoke forced him to turn around. Determined to find a way out, he headed back up towards the roof, but that was a dead end, too.
And he said the roof doors were locked. And I said, how could they be locked? It's a fire door. So I said, please just try it again. Just try it. Maybe it was jammed, when the building got hit.
But Sean said it was no use. He was sure the door was locked. Now he was trapped and desperate for information.
He said, what do you see on TV? Tell me, what do you see? Where's the fire?
It was 9:45. She'd been talking to Sean for 15 minutes and his breathing was getting worse. She begged him to try the roof again.
You have to appreciate the resourcefulness of this guy who wants so badly to make it out of there that he's trying to find out from her view on television. I don't know if I'd be that resourceful in a situation like that. You try to think...
I don't know. You try to imagine what you would do.
I'm not the most resourceful person. I suppose it does spur you to try and use every brain cell that you possibly have. But it just made me feel so bad to imagine this guy so desperately trying to, get home to his family one more time. And
sometimes, when you're panicked too, you can't think clearly.
No, but that was, he was trying to use every resource available to him and spend those last few moments with his wife. If it was at all possible.
I put the phone down and was gone for a few minutes.
I thought he'd never come back here.
And he came back and he said, I can't get the door open. I pounded. And he said, and the smoke is very thick. And he said, I passed out.
Beverly was losing hope.
And he said that he had passed out. And said, how bad is the smoke now? And he said, it's getting bad. He said, the windows are hot.
Beverly promised her husband the flames were nowhere near him. But by now, he was struggling to breathe.
I also asked him, who are you with? He said he was alone. So that there were other people nearby, but at this point, he was alone.
The voices Sean could hear came from a conference room on the 105th floor, where there were at least 200 other people who had hoped to be rescued from the roof. Now, they were all trapped. They didn't know police commanders had already ruled out a rooftop rescue because the smoke was so thick, or that helicopter pilots had already reported large pieces falling from the South Tower. And because firefighters couldn't hear police radio transmissions, they didn't know either. Unaware of the warning, they were still climbing up, still rushing in to help. 9:57.
What's horrible about this, the firefighters unable to hear the police radios. This was the same circumstance in 1993 for the World Trade Center bombings. That was one of the things that was wrong. Did you catch that part, Mark, where they revealed that the police radios and the fire radios not being in contact with each other had occurred in 93? Oh, is he about to say that?
It's in there.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
All right.
By now, Sean was fading, and Beverly's hope had turned to despair.
In a way, we just thought that this was how he was going to die. He would just slowly fade.
She was on the phone with Sean when she heard the floor beneath him begin to give way.
And I said, I think it's time to say goodbye. I think we need to say goodbye. He was really calm.
Oh,
I was surprised.
no.
I was kind of surprised that she said that. When she first said it, I thought, oh, he said that.
Yeah.
Said him say goodbye. But she actually said it because she couldn't.
Oh, man. Oh.
It reminded me of the Flight 93, the woman who was on the phone with her husband, and he said, here we go. You know, we're going to go give it a shot, and hold on. And he left the phone there.
Yeah.
And she couldn't, you know, I couldn't listen. She gave the phone to her father.
Right.
Who then heard the horrible sequence of events.
He was really great. He kept me calm. I didn't cry. He told me he loved me. Told me to give this love to his family. We talked. I was so lucky that I was able to tell him. Just tell him what a wonderful husband he did, and to thank him for making me so happy. And I remember telling him too that I wanted to be there with him.
By then, Beverly was just clinging to the phone, quietly whispering to the man who had been the magic and the love of her life for 34 years.
Just kept saying at the end, I love you. I love you. Then there was an explosion that I could hear in the background, and then there was just a loud crack. Just a crack. And the floor fell out from underneath him.
In that one awful moment, Beverly knew Sean was gone.
For some reason, watching this piece, the previous part of it too, I thought this guy was going to get out.
Yeah.
But when she said 105th floor, obviously.
I know.
there's
Oh,
no one
that's
in there.
sad.
Yeah, I know, that was just
Oh, man. Oh,
but if you weren't
horrible.
You know, if you couldn't take something, if you couldn't feel lucky about being alive after experiencing something like some of these pieces from Flight 93, some of these phone messages, and some of the things that Dateline ran last night, I don't know what it takes to appreciate being here. We're a little late starting with the rebroadcast. We wanted to kind of split things up. It took us a little longer to get through.
Oh, brother.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Here we go.
Yeah, bye.
Oh, we find it off the... Yeah, you put it off the... Yeah, do it off the TV.
Hour since Brian's tower had collapsed, it seemed hopeless. Then, a phone call.
Finally, the phone rang, and I was the one that answered it this time, and there was a crackle on the line, and I just knew it was him.
And I said, hi, honey, it's me.
It was Brian. He was alive. Diane dropped the telephone.
I'm fine, he said. I was so overcome.
And I don't think she believed it.
They had already collapsed to the floor, assuming he was gone.
Mm-hmm. When Brian told Diane what he'd been through that morning, it was difficult for her to believe. His ordeal had begun hours earlier when the first plane hit. At 8:46, he was at his desk on the 84th floor in Tower 2 when he heard a boom.
And there was nothing but a fireball outside my window. Just a massive flame swirling outside my glass.
Brian thought maybe a bomb had gone off a few floors up. As the fire warden for his floor, he got to work, yelling for people to get out. But 10 minutes later, there was an announcement.
Your attention, please.
He's like you, Mike. He thought a bomb went off.
Yeah, exactly. I thought for sure.
I thought so, too. I remember thinking that.
You know, especially the way
Building 2 was hit.
the explosions occurred around the building. It looked like they were systematically put on one floor.
Boom, boom. There's the distinct two noises right after one another. And in an instant, our room just fell apart. Ceilings collapsed, wires, some air conditioning ducts. The walls tore jaggedly where the drywall was. The door frames fell out of the walls. It was just a complete disaster.
What happened next was terrifying.
For 10 seconds, it felt like 10 seconds, the building swayed toward the Hudson River, just one way. It kept going, and I thought it's never going to stop. I thought the building was going over.
Suddenly, the tower snapped back. Brian grabbed his flashlight and led 6 shell-shocked colleagues toward the stairs. He had no way of knowing, but there was only one way out.
I had a choice to turn to my right 3 or 4 yards to go to stairway C, go 3 or 4 yards straight ahead to stairway B, or turn left 3 or 4 yards to stairway A. For whatever reason, I turned left.
It was a lucky choice. On the 81st floor, the nose of the jetliner sliced through stairwell C and B, but stairway A was still passable, and now it was the only way out.
We only went 3 floors to the 81st floor when we met a heavy-set woman coming up from the 80th floor. Hands out.
Piling on it and go away from.
You can't go down. We've just come off a floor that's in flames, and we've got to go higher. We've got to get above the smoke.
An argument broke out.
Sounds like something you would say.
Right? Did it make more sense to go up? Or should they keep going down? But before we could reach a decision, the debate was interrupted by a cry for help.
I heard this banging on the wall and this voice, strange voice, calling out, help, help, I'm buried. I can't breathe. Is anybody there?
The person was desperate, pleading for someone to save him. Brian pushed through the broken drywall and squeezed through the stairwell.
And frantically, the person was yelling, can you see my hand?
The smoke was so thick, the only thing Brian could see was the beam from his flashlight. But he knew the trapped stranger had to be close by.
And somebody is saying, knock on the wall, knock on the wall. I'll know exactly where you are.
The man trapped in the burning rubble was Stanley Pramus, a bank executive who worked on the 81st floor. When the second plane came hurtling...
Because I played the drop, you know he survived.
He was on the phone, looking right at it.
What I saw was the biggest aircraft ever bearing down towards me. Eye contact. It's coming towards me. I can still see the letters on the wing and the tail. Big red letters. And I screamed, dropped the phone, and dove under my desk. It was the most horrific, excruciating sound you could ever hear. It was like steel ripping against steel. This revving of this engine that the plane needs just before it hit. It's like this sound is still in my ears, like ringing.
When Stanley stuck his head out from under his desk, he couldn't believe he was still alive.
And the wing was stuck in the office door, 20 feet from where I was.
Stanley was trapped. He needed help.
Hey, Mark, is he a family?
What's that, Joe? What's that, Joe?
No,
living alone or had a roommate?
No, I'm just asking, does he have a family?
A roommate?
Exactly what you're thinking. I'm not thinking anything.
Does he got a wife and kids?
He's got a dog. Oh, he says he has 2 kids. Oh, does he really? Yeah. Seriously? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Is he divorced?
Just wondering. Well, I don't know if they're his kids or adopted kids.
Now, you guys are...
Oh, please, somebody help me. Help me. Don't leave me to die. I don't want to die. I have 2 children. I have to go and see them. And I'm crying like a baby.
Coughing, Stanley dropped to his knees and started crawling and praying. Then, when he had almost given up hope, he saw Brian's flashlight.
And my first reaction was, what are the chances for somebody to have a light? Am I dreaming?
And through this crack where his hand had been sticking, I could focus on this very animated face the other side.
From both sides, Brian and Stanley pulled at the wall of debris separating them.
Till we came to one final, really immovable object. I don't know really what it was. And I looked in there and I said, you must jump. That's the only way out of here.
He said, you've got to climb over. I said, I can't. He said, well, you've got to do it if you want to live.
And somehow I grabbed under his arm or something, and I lifted him out of that hell hole that he was in, and we fell in a heap on the floor.
How about you two open up and let me get in there?
I said, you are my guardian angel.
And to sort of break the clinch, I said, I'm Brian. And he said, I'm Stanley.
In that moment,
Just like to see the two get it all.
Two strangers became instant friends.
And then they started talking about football. Big time. Hey, how about those Packers? Let's say we get out of this clinch and talk some
the
football.
way this guy's breaking the clinch is like, boy, anything I was ever going to clinch.
Yeah, the other guy's pretty desperate to break the clinch.
All right, cut us some slack on this, please.
All right, come on.
We've been serious all morning.
Stop it. They're alive.
Yeah, they're alive. No, they made it out. They made it out.
Exactly. They both are. They both are. They've grown to be close friends. Like
They have.
Close friends. I mean, close friends.
Can you paraphrase how they got out, Mark?
Well, what happened, it's just like all the other choices. They chose to go down the steps instead of up.
Yeah.
They simply walked all the way
We
down.
could have gone up or we could have gone down.
We went down.
On each.
They went down.
They went down together. Down the stairways?
Yes.
Down the stairwell? Is that what they did?
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Down the stairwell.
The joke is in the reception area now. Okay, so they walked all the way down.
Yeah.
Who knows that?
I couldn't even walk down the stairs. I'd be so out of breath. Even going downstairs, I'd be huffing and puffing.
Well, you know the smoke had to be bad for people to be going up the stairs, because who in the world is going to want to go upstairs when the smoke's rising, and anyway.
See, it wasn't their time. I think everybody seems to have a time in which to go, you know?
Yeah, especially when you look at Flight 93 and you see that some of these people were not intended to be on that flight. And there were some people who were supposed to be in that flight who weren't in that flight. So, it is amazing.
It really is.
Anyway, I just thought that's the only report I've ever heard of someone seeing the plane coming at them.
I know, that is amazing.
Because you think people would, look out the... I don't know. If we had a window in the studio, I'd be looking out it a lot.
Of course, it's natural. People naturally look out the window, man.
And then you have the... oh boy, there's a weird story in the USA today. It's kicking. Is it in CD1, Mark? The kick-in from last year?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a story on page 1 of USA Today about this couple who lost their son, and he was never found. No sign of him, no nothing. And so they've been looking for pictures, desperately trying to see if he turns up in anything. I mean, if he's alive, or if they can find some last semblance of him. And by the way, what they were showing us last night, too, were pictures of the stairwells of people who took pictures going down those stairwells.
Those people, you mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that. I've never seen that before.
The 63rd floor, the 46th floor, and you see these people trying to, go down in an orderly manner. And they're also describing other people who came down from above them and were burned badly, and yet were trying to get out of the building, and they let them go ahead, which, is pretty amazing, the circumstances that people would show the respect.
The only thing I can think of is those photographs are taken from the documentary, the video.
Except he didn't get up that high. Could that guy have gotten up that high?
No, I don't know, because I thought, didn't they get some kind of footage? They're talking about they originally had footage of people in the stairwells and all that stuff.
Well, they only made it to the lobby. You're talking about the French guys or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, no,
they didn't go up the stairs.
No, those pictures came out
they had
maybe about 6 months ago, I think, around the 6-month anniversary. Somebody who was walking out at a camper.
Pictures, yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
That was amazing photographs.
Anyway, the Rambusek family, the son is Luke, 27 years old. He left for work at 7 a.m. September the 11th with a clipped farewell, stepped out the door and vanished. They said as if into vapor, no final phone call, no email, no body, no nothing. His mother waits patiently at the kitchen table for the picture taken on that day. She and her husband have seized on the image, a blotchy shape in the window of a dying building as the last glimpse of their son, something beyond that painfully ordinary parting, beyond that not knowing. And then on the inside, they show the picture and the rest of the story here just briefly. Mike has the September 11th picture now, famous and still awful, of workers in the North Tower of the World Trade Center, stranded and doomed in the upper floors, hanging out broken windows, and they're desperately trying to get air, of course.
Sure.
It's photographed from so far away that you're largely out of focus, but Mike, who's a computer systems engineer for Reuters, has fiddled with the picture endlessly on his home computer, enlarging and enhancing, playing with the pixels. He's constantly searching for other photos of the same scene, perhaps from a slightly different angle, that can more easily be examined up close. The Rambuzics are certain they see Luke, the younger of their two sons. He worked as a temporary computer technician for the bond trading firm Cantor Fitzgerald, which a number of Michiganders worked there, and that company lost more people, I believe, than anyone else on 9/11. He had been asked that day to come in to work an hour early. The figure in the photo is shirtless like others hanging out the windows in what must have been an attempt to escape the brutal heat. So, I mean, when you think about it that way, people so hot, actually removing clothing to desperately try to...
It's been like a blast
stay cool.
Can you imagine?
It's a man, beefy, bent at the waist, his upper body leaning out. He appears to be holding another person up to the window, perhaps someone unconscious, maybe a woman. Is he trying to revive her? Others seem to be doing the same thing with other people. The smoke is spreading. Flames can be seen inside the building behind the people. So there are people who have passed out from smoke inhalation, I imagine, that they're holding up out the window. And, there's so many different forms of heroism on this day. And here again, you have people who are, desperately trying to hold people out for a gasp of air.
Out like that. Yeah, instead of just taking care of themselves, that's really, truly amazing. Truly great.
The photograph was taken minutes before the building collapsed. Jindra has worked this out in her mind. That's the mother. The figure at the window is undeniably familiar. It triggers memory. Sometimes when she'd forget her keys and be standing in the street below their apartment, she'd look up to the third floor and see Luke, shirt off, smiling, hunched forward with shoulders filling the window in the same way, tossing her the keys. That's his body, she says. I know it. Because sometimes he was a funny guy. Sometimes he came from the gym and he used to flex for me. I'm sure it's him. It's funny, when I read that, I had this concept of this guy taking his shirt off at work.
I know. Flexing, I mean? I know. It's the first thing I thought of.
Well, you know how people when they work out, like to take their shirts off.
No,
but in this case, they point out that a number of the people at the windows have taken their shirts off, which is just such a grim reality.
No.
Anyway, they're still reading the names at the Ground Zero site.
Robert John Durrani.
We had Robert De Niro just moments ago reading the names. Do you know who this is?
Edward Desimoni III.
Probably one of the turd.
Why are they having somebody read it?
It might be one of the victim's relatives, is what I'm guessing, because this does not appear to be a familiar person. Any idea, Mark? God, no.
You think you'd have somebody that could pronounce everything very crystal clear?
Well, it might be a family member. That's what I'm thinking, because it doesn't seem to be anybody that we would know.
Patricia Florence.
Well, let's get back to the broadcast, and we'll start it all over again, and we'll run a pretty good hunk of it for you as we're on our way out of here. And we're not on our way out of here yet. We do have commercial-free radio for quite a while yet, so that'll give us a chance to play the broadcast pretty much as you heard it 1 year ago today. And we're at the portion not long after 8:46 when we first discovered that something was wrong in the first tower. Yes.
Explain why the song's playing that's playing.
Oh, yeah. I know this is weird. Yeah, it sounds really ridiculous.
No.
We're playing Jet Airliner because we were coming out of a phone call with this guy who had flown around the world on commuter jets. He would fly connecting flight to connecting flight to connecting flight until he got, quote-unquote, around the world, and that's using quote-unquote very loosely, by the way. We're terribly impressed with his analysis.
As a passenger, just kind of,
And he didn't really go exactly around the world either. I didn't plot it out, but it was somewhat dubious. He was quite proud of himself, and we were coming out of it with the Steve Miller song when, ironically, this airline-related event tragedy occurred, so we weren't playing Big Old Jet Airliner for any reason other than that. 9 o'clock at 101 WRIF Detroit. You know what? It's funny. I saw these phones ringing, and all of a sudden I looked up just as we were hanging out with Bill Dorsey. Mark was running around changing the stations. A plane has crashed into the World Trade Center.
Right into the top of it, man.
On the ground.
It looks like a kamikaze. I mean, it looks like somebody flew right into it on purpose.
along with several others,
Look
they
at
found
that.
a plane.
Where's the plane? Did the plane bounce off it, Mark?
Looks like the plane's inside of it. Look at, because where's the hole? And isn't there a hole mark also on the left side?
That we're getting in.
There is two parts of the structure.
But do you see any part of the plane? I don't see anything.
No, and which could be obscured by smoke. At this point, there's a tremendous plume of black smoke. Black smoke is just pouring out of these gaping holes. The structure is just tremendously penetrated. The concrete is just literally gone with black smoke just pouring out of that thing.
Could the plane be inside?
Absolutely.
Oh,
definitely.
God.
Absolutely. Easily. Because you figure that thing penetrated concrete, steel girders, iron, all of those things that go into building structures of that size.
Let's see about the other...
Possibly a commercial jet again, a big question mark.
CNBC.
Oh, a commercial jet. Oh.
No, it can't be a commercial jet.
I understand it had fuel in it too, honey. What a
Go down
stupid
to
statement.
14, 10, and 9.
This looks like this would be a
there's a woman that
kamikaze.
carried, I guess she fainted or something, but I don't see any physical injuries to her.
All right, Mr. Klein, passenger plane.
All right, good talking to you, sir.
That sounds like a deliberate suicide.
Teresa Renault is with us.
Good morning, how are you?
This is Bryant Dumble. I'm down on 59th and 5th. Where are you?
I am in Chelsea, and we are at 8th and 16th. We are the tallest building in the area, and my window faces south, so it looks directly onto the World Trade Center. And I would say, approximately 10 minutes ago, there was a major explosion from probably, it looks like about the 80th floor. It looks
Definitely
like
see a building in front of you. You don't need to be
probably
any kind of an expert to know when you're in the air that there's a building in front of you, okay?
Let's see, the north side.
Wow, that's an incredible shot
This is
on
huge.
CBS that we're looking at. Unbelievable picture.
And it was very loud explosion.
This is also this is the part of well, I have to believe it's a tragedy because, first of all, whoever's in that plane, and if anybody's in the upper floors of that building, but this is the part of the tragedy where they put some really dubious characters on TV to talk about. Not to make light of it, but there's going to be some really sketchy things coming through your television, no matter what network you're on, in the next hour or so, until they figure out what the hell's going on.
Well, you see
They're just going to try and fill time. MSNBC?
Yeah, it's got a really nice view. The MSNBC has a view from above where there's the water, there's boats out there, and the lighting.
What is that?
And that is considerably lower. And is that in the other building?
Wait a minute, was that the impact?
That apparently does look like it is in the other building at this point.
Did something just blow up?
Yes.
Which means obviously there are considerable numbers of stories above that explosion that we just saw.
Well, whoever's in that building is so dead.
Go back to CBS.
Angle. Yes, you can tell that it
That's
now
live.
appears that both buildings.
That was a
looked like it was a
humongous fireball from another. Was that from another
From
building?
the second building. Yeah, the second
Right
tower.
into it. There's not. It didn't look like it was. And it didn't look like.
Look at the fire pouring out of that side.
Try 10.
Can you characterize the scene?
Oh, God, here
Brian,
come the
shut
dumb journalists.
That's what I was just saying. This is where you get
Look at
some
the
really.
plane go by. Oh, they showed it. That's the plane.
What?
Yeah, they just showed a plane go right through
Okay,
it.
back it up.
Wait a minute, right there.
Oh my
That was a jet.
Wait, that's a second plane. That's another one. The other side. So this is obviously, or would seem to be, and again,
Well,
I'm dealing
that's on
with that,
purpose.
It would seem like there is a concerted attack against one of the towers of the room.
Yeah,
obviously.
that is kamikaze.
Charles, I think you can take a little bit of, go out on a limb here and say that something planned is going on.
Yeah, that was a giant. Oh my God!
You know, how un-effing believable is this?
Holy Christ!
Just assume. Could you hear that? Could you hear that plane as it came in?
I did not hear that plane, but I had to step inside.
You want to back up? Let's take another look at that.
That was it looked to be a jet aircraft. One jet engine. Whoa,
my
back it up.
God!
Back it up. And freeze on that airplane.
Oh my God! Can you believe? Yeah, it's just out of a movie.
You know what? That is a regular jet aircraft. There is a jet engine on each. That's a jet.
How big?
That's damn big. That's a big plane.
It's cooking too.
That's large. That looks to be larger than a business jet. It's bigger than like a Citation or Gulfstream, those types of things.
Like a good size plane
That
came
is-
in and
we're talking like over
hit the World Trade
DC-9.
Center from the other side. So this is
What is up with the World Trade Center? I mean, we had this bombing 3 years ago or whatever, the Mohammed Salami deal.
Mohammed Salami, yeah.
But I'm just wondering,
flew right into that thing. It was definitely a suicide mission.
who is orchestrating multiple plane shots on the World Trade Center? I mean, how...
In the balls. What pilot can sit there looking at his instrument panel, seeing this World Trade Center looming in his windshield, knowing in
Anybody
moments
care
he's
for
going
some-
to be dead?
Anybody want to toss out some irresponsible speculation? Who's responsible?
Is it going to be similar to that irresponsible speculation from the Oklahoma building? Or
Oh, you mean as far as something from the Middle East?
All right, what group do you think is going to claim responsibility?
It's somewhat irresponsible to just toss it out there, but I don't think it's out of the question. But it could be a McVeigh type. You never know. It could be some. It could be some angry white guy.
Yeah.
But we're talking two planes here, two pilots.
Two pilots that are dead, and that plane that just went in there was a much larger jet aircraft. I mean, it was larger than a business jet.
in the last half hour, and again, I say we are totally powerless in knowing what's going on here.
I tell you, if I was on television in New York right now, I wouldn't want to stay.
I tell you,
if I was in a tower,
obviously be some sort of a concerted attack.
Oh no!
I'd be running down the
against both
stairwell
towers
so
of the World
fast.
Trade Center. This is again, we're going to show
dead right now in there. And you talk about elevator banks that are out of commission now.
The airplane flying in.
I don't know how many people are. Yeah, sure. I don't know how many people work up there, but I would.
Look at the jet. That is a full-blown jet of the commercial variety.
If they're still showing this video at the end of the day, you're going to see the most unbelievable piece of video you may have ever seen in your life.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you know what else is going to happen?
The stock market has stopped. They're all looking at the television.
And you wait and see when the home video starts coming in. You know somebody probably got the most amazing. The first one.
Yeah. Wait, Maria Bartiromo was on the phone.
Who actually watched the plane go in? Tell us exactly what you saw.
I just saw out of nowhere the plane came in, crashed right into the Trade Center, and went right through.
Thank you.
Thank you. Speed didn't stop, just right through the whole center, right through the whole building.
And that was the second tower.
What, was he going to put his brakes on?
Yeah.
The second tower.
It went right through the building. It didn't stop.
The top of the tower.
Yeah, why didn't the guy stop right there?
This is one slightly, unfortunately, amusing sidebar to what's happened. Is you're going to hear some unbelievable thing as all the television stations try to compete with each other by tossing people on the air.
And you know what else, man? Do you know how long it's been slow news days for how long now? And you got something like this? The news agencies are going to just be bananas for like the next month.
Well, the cable stations have gotten really good at this, at jumping in on this. I mean, Fox News, for example, they just look for standoffs and things like that all day long.
Yeah.
And now the networks are trying to prove that, of course, they can do it better than anyone else. I'm not so sure they can when it comes to CNN. And
I can't confirm that from where I'm.
What's the second building there, though? I don't know. Does the World Trade Center have two towers?
I didn't know that it did. I thought the World Trade Center was one building. I didn't know it had a twin counterpart at all. But I tell you what, man, that jet looked to be larger than a DC-9, and that thing came in there under full cruise power. That thing wasn't slowed up. The flaps weren't down. The landing gear wasn't down. That thing entered that building with the gear up, the flaps up. It was in full cruise mode when it struck the side of that building.
Would you believe that that's a commercial plane?
It could definitely be a commercial plane. Definitely. Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're talking a plane full of passengers, can you imagine if that was
I didn't even think about that.
Well, if it's that big a plane.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, see, Drew, but see, airplanes like that, they also use them a lot in freight. You know, so it's possible that you can have basically a flight crew of two guys flying. That's not a corporate jet. You notice there's one big jet engine on each wing. All your corporate jets all have your engines on the back by the tail.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you think about it, your Gulfstreams, your Citations, your little business jet, your Lear jets, all those things.
Oh, is that the plane coming in?
The second one.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah. Look at... wow! Look at... You should... The plane just struck the second tower. There was a fireball that looked like... it looked like an atomic bomb went off, and it was just in a huge mushroom cloud of orange and black.
All right, come on. No, let's not bring the Teletubby drops.
They wanted to see it again.
I know. I want to see it again too.
This thing is, I think it's aired from behind. Now, did it come out the other end?
Can you imagine, Mike,
Look
being
at the debris field coming out the other
being
side.
in one of those boats down there?
Oh, my
watching
God.
that? I mean, you've got to be going, that plane looks like it's headed right for
Oh, my God.
Imagine being in the building just below it.
Yeah, and how it would rock that building to its very foundations. You're in the parking structure, anything like that. And also, can you imagine out there on the water how loud that was when that aircraft struck that tower?
Hey, Clint.
Yeah,
go ahead. You were going to tell us about the World Trade Center?
Yeah, I got a buddy that works for Merrill Lynch, their headquarters in New York, and the World Trade Center has two towers. It's two towers.
Okay. Hey, both towers got it, man. Both towers.
Hey, Clint, why don't you blow in a call to him? Would he be at work now?
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, call him, man. What floor? God, he's on a lower floor.
Do you know what floor he works on?
But on his cell phone.
Fine. There's only probably like about 2,000 people dead at this point. Look at the plane.
Hey, Mario.
Yeah.
Go ahead so Drew can see that. Drew, check this out. See the plane on the left side?
Yeah.
Hang on one second, man.
That's an unbelievable shot.
You know what else is interesting? You see where
Did you see that yet, Trudy? Can you believe this?
Yeah, because it's been a target before.
I know.
And they actually have a practice in New York City of closing things down. It's called Operation Archangel, which takes effect when something like this. They've basically anticipated something like this happening because there have been terrorist threats against the Trade Center and several tunnels in New York City and the UN, and they've closed down and are starting to evacuate, I think, those vital buildings that are considered to be targets already as part of Operation Archangel. Of course, the Pentagon is already in the middle of this, and so is the FBI.
Just looking at that second aircraft there for a second, these are commercial airline type aircraft.
Now, CNN said one of them was a twin engine, but somebody else has described it as being a jet.
They're twin engine jets.
A much larger plane that.
Yeah, they're twin engine jets. They're commercial airline varieties. There's one jet engine on each wing. They're not on the tail. But you know what? Here's what I really want to tell you on the second impact that we see. The airplane you can see is being hand flown. It's not on autopilot, and you see the deliberate manipulation of the airplane, and the nose goes down because the guy is trying to strike the building at a particular height. You'll see the nose go down, and then he puts it into a bank and lines it up on the building. It looks like quite a maneuver. Yeah, and you actually see the deliberate lowering of the nose and the banking of the aircraft to line it up on that building and strike the corner. And you know
evacuating the New York Stock Exchange already.
I'd be out there.
So already they're evacuating the principal areas in New York City that they think could be targeted as well. Are we under attack? That's what they want to know. Now, the Pentagon, of course, won't say anything as yet about that.
The internet.
What's due to happen next?
Somebody on the internet's already saying, what if there's anthrax on board the airplane?
That's actually one of their big fears, too, is that Iraqis or whomever it is who commit a terrorist attack might also load whatever vehicle with a possible biochemical weapon.
Well, you know what's scary? I always think of what kind of a madman would, take themselves out. Kamikaze pilot. During World War or World War II, reading that history, you always hear about those guys. I always thought, and of course you're a kid when you're reading it, thinking, who would end their life, for
a cause. I tell you what, somebody that thinks that they're getting 72
virgins. Exactly.
Osama bin Laden has, of course, been making these threats for quite some time, and the State Department has been keeping everybody on high alert about this. Look how the wind is carrying that cloud, though, if it is in fact, and no one has even breached the topic of bioweapons, but if there were, New York City would be in a pretty bad situation right about now.
Holy Christ.
It's a city that is almost impossible to evacuate, too.
because you have to funnel everybody out through various tunnels to the different boroughs and then for safety. So what they're viewing this morning is a new height of terrorism. It happened once before, too. It's been a target for a while. 1993 was when the last attack bombing of the World Trade Center happened. And, of course, they just finished adjudicating that case with the World Trade Center bombers going to their respective prisons.
Are there any reports yet on how many people work on those floors up high in the World Trade
And who
Center?
would be there at about 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the Trade Center,
have
so
they
it wouldn't
spit
be
anything out in that regard? I just wondered.
They haven't spit anything out yet, nor have they tracked how many injuries there were within, or, of course, the smoke
sure
is
they
another
don't know,
factor.
I just wondered
And
who's up there.
the other factor is what happened to the plane wreckage that fell from the side of the Trade Center and presumably down to the streets. So they're tracking that. But you can see a plume from the World Trade Center, of course, downwind. Whatever's in that smoke, it's quite a fire, quite a blaze.
Yeah, did you see the planes? Well, you did. You saw the plane bank and hit. I've never seen a piece of video like that in my life. That was the most incredible.
Look at that plume.
Wow.
And of course,
it's really scary. I just can't even imagine what it would be like to be working in that part of New York, or after the first attack to go back to the World Trade Center.
Panic.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah,
I mean, because you have no idea what's going to happen next.
We're grabbing a few New York phone numbers like Dr. Sean.
All air traffic control, or all air traffic has been grounded in the New York area in and out of the various airports. Lindsey Grimm, in the meantime, was a witness who was very close. She was almost next door to the Trade Center in a building.
Well, I actually, just to clear things up, I wasn't in the building. I was in the World Financial Center, which is directly behind it. And I was on our part of the building faces the section, the courtyard where the World Trade Center is. So we ran to the window right after we felt this kind of a sonic boom as if it were an earthquake, and something just wasn't right. We ran to the window and somebody yelled, "Oh my God, a plane just flew into the World Trade Center."
And then 18 minutes later, another plane hit the World Trade Center in New York City this morning.
100,000 people in those two buildings on any given day, between tourists and 40,000 employees. 80,000 employees? Yeah. But they hit the upper portion of the building. I would assume anyone from that point up is... I can't even imagine.
They'll be trapped because Jennifer just handed me a note that all the elevators are, of course, out in those buildings. So people who are in those upper floors, even the lower ones, can't be evacuated. And so
the lower ones can't get. Oh my!
Well, I mean, nobody can.
How do you fight this? I mean, as a fire crew, I can't even. If you can't get up there.
Do you remember what they went through in 1993 when there was an explosion at the Trade Center, too, where people were attempting to get down the stairways? Because, of course, the elevators went out then as well. And there were people in a completely dark stairway trying to force themselves down. Other people, of course, panicked. And there was trampling and stampedes. And it's...
Wow.
A shrewd target if you're a terrorist.
How would you fight a fire like that?
And they can't. I mean, I don't have anything high enough
There's no way to get up there.
Helicopter.
That's the whole thing is that, the ladders, all that stuff. The only thing you could do is, would be like fighting a forest fire. The only thing you could possibly do would be
drop water from above,
from those giant buckets. Right. But by the time you're ready up, by the time you get Sikorsky's of that size and load buckets of water, first of all, that operation would probably take about 6 hours just to get it that far.
They might actually have something like that in readiness in New York City, though.
Well, that could be.
Because they do have a sort of an organized effort already afoot to get these people evacuated.
And you do have the water right there, and I'm sure they have, fire plans for something like that for a building of that nature, especially one that's been under attack so often. But in reality, I gotta tell you, man, looking at that, literally a real life towering inferno. I don't think there's anything you can do at that point other than prevent the spread of the fire downward. You know what I'm saying? To other floors.
President Bush is going to check in just minutes.
Really? In just minutes?
They said, yeah, he's...
I'm surprised as hell. I thought it'd be noon before he turned up.
No, really, honestly.
He's in Florida, by the way. He's not even in D.C.
Unless they know who did it already, man.
I'll take money that he takes no questions.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody want a piece of that?
No. It's going to be a brief 1-2 minute remark. maybe like we'll get whoever is responsible for this.
Quickly, Chris.
Maybe somebody's already taken credit.
You know something about the World Trade Center?
Yeah, I'm a Morgan Stanley employee. Morgan Stanley Dean Witter, I guess we'll refer to it. And we occupy in the second building that got hit about the 50th floor all the way up to the top.
Oh man, how many floors are in that building?
It's about 3.5 years since I was there for training, but I think it's like 120. Don't quote me on that.
Oh boy, you're about the 50th floor?
Yeah.
Oh jeez, man. Oh,
that's really there's a Morgan Stanley down in Times Square, but there's also, we occupy a lot of that.
No,
So is that pretty much of a horror show in the office at this point, I would imagine?
Well, if you're a Morgan Stanley employee, don't call on your account today. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Hey, thanks for calling, Chris.
Hey, guys.
Jeez, all right. And we'll come back, probably find some things out during the... Whoopi Goldberg canceled, I figured. Did Eddie Munster cancel, too?
No, he's in Vegas.
Butch Patrick. I don't know if we can talk to Butch Patrick while this is going.
No, I don't think so.
The Munsters. Could you imagine? CNBC going, and now we interrupt our coverage of the World Trade Center plane crashes because Butch Patrick's on the line. Butch, what's going on? Hey! All right, we have to point out this is a rebroadcast of 9/11/2001, 1 year ago today, just so there are a couple people who wake up from their long slumber and think that planes are hitting I don't know how they'd be hitting the World Trade Centers again, but if you thought this was a live broadcast, then I suppose you could think that too. We're going to get on to the next segment here at 10 in front of 9 o'clock, 101 WRIF. This is the second time through this morning. First time through, we got a call from the guy at the end there, Chris, who had heard his voice on there and called in, and he was all freaked out. He barely remembered that he'd called in on this day.
Yeah, wasn't that weird?
Yeah, it was really strange.
Yeah, it was almost like a dream.
I'm looking at this article on miracles emerging from the debris. It's a great article. It's about people, for example, who literally fell with the tumbling building when the building completely imploded.
Oh, right.
And they lived. And unfortunately, in the picture of Ladder Company 6, they've got these guys who are all heroes and who did so much to get these people out. Somebody drew a penis in the guy's hand.
Oh, no.
I know.
Oh, come on. That's grossly inappropriate.
I know, terrible.
Last week. That is grossly inappropriate.
That's terrible. But, and we apologize too for some of the drops and inappropriate. There was some necessary levity. We'd had over 3 hours of pretty straight ahead, dreadful, heart wrenching material, and things got a little crazy there at about 25 after 9 when Doug got the 6 voicemails.
Yeah, apologize for that.
We're sorry about that. We were trying to behave. It's just it's very tough. This is a tough day. Tough to listen to this rebroadcast and some of the best stories are the ones that are the most inspiring, also the most heart-wrenching, and we've been hearing a lot of them the last couple of days. But enough of that, and more of this, because this is what people seem to be enjoying, judging from the email, is the rebroadcast as we relive 9/11/01 as it happened here on WRIF. All right, if you're just getting up or joining us, 2 planes, obviously hijacked by terrorists, or they seem to think hijacked by terrorists. Seems so.
It seems patently pretty obvious.
Yeah.
You hate to state it definitively, but it certainly seems to be the case.
Have flown in, kamikazed into the World Trade Center, killing who knows how many people. I can't even imagine. And we're going to bring you George Bush's speech from just moments ago. And I thought this was very strange. Did you see this?
No, I didn't see it. No,
it's weird.
He's pretty rattled.
Yeah, he's obviously rattled. But would you want the president around a bunch of kids announcing that this terrorist activity is taking place, and he's like thanking people for their hospitality? This is really I mean, it's a terrible position to be put in, but it seems like they should have just pulled him outside.
Just wait. I mean, there's no rush. Just wait. I mean, we can hear from him in 30 minutes or something, and get him ready, get him a little more versed in what's going on, get him to settle down a little bit.
But you send someone in there and you say, you know what, there's a bit of an emergency, the president's going to have to leave. Hey, thanks a lot, bye-bye.
Oh, absolutely.
And then, instead of having him finish.
Yeah, do a live shot from classroom C or something. Yeah.
But you can kind of I think you can sort of read into what the president's going through. It's pretty. I don't think you get a pin up his ass. Not that you get a pin up mine if I was the president.
The thing of it is, too, he gets good and mad, and boy, he rattles a saber. And when somebody takes credit for this one, he's going to be on a mission, baby. We're going to be flying fighters over there like you can't believe.
Man. This is grim. They say bodies are dropping from the top floor now. They say 5 or 6 bodies.
Oh, my
So far from the Trade Center, of course, the fires.
Falling out or jumping out?
I presume people are jumping.
We were figuring that
that's what I was thinking.
It probably was like a Boeing 757, 767 one.
737 or an Airbus is what they've thought.
So an Airbus would be it could be the first one. Be an Airbus. It could be an Airbus.
One of the planes. You had a.
This is 767 American Airlines from Boston.
All right, so you got that. You got how many people working in those buildings? You only got 5 or 6 bodies falling. You wait and see how many end up falling.
Well, this jumping.
Beginning.
We also have how
true.
Not only have they stopped all air traffic, but they have all of Manhattan now sealed off because they're afraid of more
terrorism.
Sure. The bridges.
You mean
and
sealed off as in you can't drive into Manhattan?
I can't drive in or out.
No, or
probably.
out.
Or out.
Well, no.
Well,
the entire city is within. How would you?
I sure as hell would want to get the hell. Well, I sure would want to be allowed to get out.
So we've got that. We've got Manhattan sealed off, and we also have our forces, of course, on high alert, as President Bush alluded to just moments ago. That we're going to bring the full force of government to bear in this. On behalf of New York City.
Yeah, and what? Yeah.
To resolve, and of course,
knee-jerk reaction.
Except for the fact that maybe there is more to this.
Well, there'll be a lot more.
To happen.
Hey, listen, any story that we see come along, any story, there's in the end, there's so much more to the simplest.
No, but I mean,
there's I got a little something here. There's reports of a rumble at the Pentagon and people scurrying. So are you just a rumble?
So in other words, like silliness or maybe something.
I've heard that twice now.
Hard to say.
Well,
why don't we? You want to flip over to 4 real quick? That's where it came from.
Wow.
Yeah, 204 is a picture.
Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus. What the hell's going on?
You want to save the? No, we don't want to watch Mother Angelica.
We're under attack.
Nobody knows exactly what happened. I think the picture is pretty clear. According to one U.S. Army officer who went running past me at a full trot,
this is the Pentagon.
He said that it appears that a bomb was detonated at the heliport. The heliport is a helicopter landing area right next to the Pentagon, just adjacent to the E-ring. The offices nearest the heliport area are U.S. Army, Reserve officers and the Army Reserve our offices are located there. But as you can see, it appears to be a pretty significant blast. To give you some perspective, we are almost on the opposite side of the building, the world's largest office building. And as I reported to you, we could feel the building shake and the windows rattle. And as I was in the hallway just a few moments ago, I could smell an acrid kind of smoke, the kind of almost what you'd smell when a fluorescent light goes bad, that kind of phallus smell. And authorities are clearing the building. I don't know if you can hear the sirens outside right now, but it appears that...
They're security the latest.
U.S. airspace is locked down, and supposedly they're evacuating the White House.
Wow.
Because of fear
of the world.
I know it, man. This is like incredible. I mean,
according to ABC.
Guys, the picture we're looking at here, what is this smoking?
That's the Pentagon.
That's what I want to make sure.
That's outside the Pentagon, the
heliport
that they're talking about.
So if being we're looking at just, I mean,
wouldn't you think
white smoke that has taken over the whole television screen, yeah, you would definitely vacate the White House.
Wouldn't you think our intelligence would be hip to one of these things?
Yeah.
And what else is there to come?
Well, exactly. And I tell you what,
glad to be in Michigan, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Although, well, I've never liked the fact that we've got silos in the UP either, by the way. It seems to me Bush and company ought to be up in Air Force One about now, circling, if you know what I'm saying.
Would you want to fly into D.C. right now? In the White House.
But you know how they get them up off the ground in the air and becomes a big command center up there? Because I mean, this is starting to look, as you say, like a full-blown attack.
A national emergency.
Really?
Absolutely.
And that's when they take to the air. And Air Force One becomes a command center, as you know.
According to Chris
From all the movies.
Yes,
as you know from watching...
years that whatever it was, and perhaps it was a plane, Katie, if those are the initial reports, crashed into, or the damage is on the roof of the building at the heliport side of the Pentagon, which is just opposite of the Potomac River, as I just said.
We're looking at the White House, Mick, because we are learning that there have been some evacuations
I don't like this
from the White House. I'm assuming that everyone is being evacuated from the Pentagon?
Well, nobody's given us the official word yet.
Is that a sprinkler at the White House? What is that?
I don't know, Drew.
There's a guy with a machine gun in the shot.
Who's looking awful cool. He looks just like
the White House.
He looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. Do you see the arms on that dude?
But just judging by the pictures, it's clear that that part of the building that is not damaged, at least, has been evacuated. Like I said, in the hallway, it was pandemonium. People were rushing from their offices, rushing outside.
And you're in your office at the Pentagon right now, Mick, reporting to us?
I am in the office, but I'm at the opposite side of where this crash occurred.
All right, why don't you see if you can gather some more information? Please, again, be careful.
What are they talking about? Is that a crash?
We're talking about a possible plane crash.
I thought they were talking about a bomb into the heliport at first.
That possibly nosed into the heliport at the Pentagon.
So now we got maybe a plane that flew into the damn Pentagon and one that's aiming itself at the White House, maybe, you know? Jesus.
Are confirming the reports that one of the planes was a hijacked flight, an American flight from Boston to Los Angeles. They are also now looking into what's going on at the Pentagon. They don't have any details, but they have now put government buildings around the city of Washington on a heightened state of alert. I think part of that is happening formally, but obviously people are seeing what's going on, and some people are leaving buildings as well simply because of the concern following these latest reports from the Pentagon.
They were picking up the signal from WDIV Channel 4, and it's this Today Show running over, isn't it? They don't go past that.
Good Morning America is also doing the same. Well, they actually called Peter Jennings out. They were also mentioning that they have a lot of drills in Washington, D.C. and New York that they've exercised what to do in the case of biowarfare attacks, just in case this is one of those things.
Yeah, that's all we need.
It's
a wind blowing, man.
Well, in two of the power centers of the United States, in Washington, D.C., at the Pentagon, and at the World Trade Center in New York City. They're also now evacuating the Sears Tower in Chicago.
If you're working in a building that tall in a major metropolitan area in the United States, wouldn't you want to just like go get your kids and go home and take the day off?
I would already be home. Do you remember the precautions they took when the Oklahoma City bombing happened? And they strengthened the facades of these buildings so that they couldn't drive truck bombs.
This has got to be a Osama bin Laden, wouldn't you think?
I would have to say that anybody
who could orchestrate something like this, I would say
he's by far the most organized of any of these. And he has attacked U.S. facilities.
And obviously, this is so unprecedented.
The fires in the courtyard of the Pentagon, that's the latest for where the smoke is coming from. And by the way, anybody want to know today's date?
It's 9/11.
11th of September, 9/11.
9/11.
I don't know.
I'm sure it's significant. And now we're going to find out that the government had been warned. You wait and see all the crap we're going to hear from this. They knew this a week ago.
Well, they didn't seem to know much. If all this is going on, I'm just surprised that of all these people who have squirreled through the system, whether it's through security on this plane in Boston or whatever, somebody with something that blew up in the courtyard of the Pentagon, and all these individual events, and not one of them was,
not one of them was understood.
There was a clue about any of it.
The other thing is, Drew, is it based on a thing in the courtyard? I mean, you've seen how much smoke is on that television screen.
No, that's not a smoke bomb.
And nor is that just a little courtyard. I got to tell you, that is a major area that's
shutting down all airports.
Naturally.
So
that's the very first thing you do. Don't let them land, don't let them take off.
So nobody goes anywhere today.
monitoring all our sources. We've got about 8 TVs going, and
she's running in with notes to Trudy like every 5 seconds.
interns and producers.
She's
We're just kind of monitoring our various news organizations and cable outlets. How many stations are giving complete coverage? There's probably 15 stations, including cable.
At least. I would say at this point. I mean, at this point, since we seem to be under national attack, I would think almost every channel there would be on this one. Even the Food Channel would be covering this, I'd think.
You know what? Actually, as you float around, you see there's like cartoons on and stuff like that. It just seems so
silly, ridiculous.
The Pentagon. But we do know that nowhere in the United States is no commercial airport under the control of the FAA or aircraft taking off. And this is in large measure because it has now been reported by several news agencies that the first aircraft, I beg your pardon, the one of the 2 aircraft which crashed into the Twin Trade Towers just before and just after 9 o'clock.
Peter Jennings from
was XYZ. We do not know the airline. We're not able absolutely to confirm that, but there are several reports.
We're going to have like schools letting out and all that to follow. I mean, we're shutting down the airlines.
Oh yeah, definitely schools.
They're evacuating tall buildings.
Everybody's going home, baby.
You're listening to a rebroadcast of 9/11/01 on 101 WRIF Detroit. And, boy, scads of email today. Just tons and tons. And I'm glad to say a lot of people are getting something out of this. I don't know. I'm not sure why I thought it would be a good idea, but I thought it would be. And that seems to be the consensus. To get some dissenters, though. Boy, some people are really, some sensitive, pissy people today.
Subject. Today's morning program sucks so far.
Oh.
Insanity's already started. The media's playing the same old bleep about the towers. These idiots are not even talking about what matters. We know the story. We know the building fell. We know a lot of people died, got hurt. Talk about something useful. We've heard all this before. Stop wasting our time. We were here for the first go-round. It's done. Some mental ladies flew some planes into a building. Why they did it? What have we done to fix it? You want to talk? Talk about getting home from work today. Talk about your family. Taking your family out in the town. We'll leave work right now. Pick up your kids from school. Go play catch with your boy. Push your little girl on a swing. Teach them to ride a bike. Teach them how to drive a car. That's right. Go home, get your wife, your girl, your parents, your parents. Go enjoy yourself.
You're writing this thing.
I've seen the world lose its mind over a sports team winning a game, a freaking game. All they want to do is celebrate. People are standing in corners, sitting on their porches, driving in their cars. Well, today, 9/11 should be a celebration of freedom. It should dwarf the activity that happens when the Red Wings win the Stanley Cup. That's just my opinion, but I know I'm right. Unfortunately, it seems I'm the only one who's awake.
Wow. And the only one that has enough time to write all that stuff down and think all that through and think of every example under the sun from pushing somebody on a swing to...
Mike Clark despises people that have lots of time.
I know, because I have so little.
You've got plenty of time.
No, I don't.
Gus, you're an ass.
You're not like me, therefore you're an ass.
Here's Nick. Listening to the rebroadcast is making Mike sound very intelligent. Good job, guys. A year ago, it was hard to take it all as it was going on. This helps remember what happened. I'm enjoying your rebroadcast. I was too numb to listen a year ago. I'm here at the GM Tech Center working and listening with my earphones on. Someone tapped my shoulder, asked what I was listening to, and when I told them they were older, I said, "Good Lord, aren't you sick of hearing about that yet?" Before I could say what I wanted to say, an older African-American gal jumped out of her chair and ripped the person a new one in the most beautiful American way you can imagine. It's her damn business, and you should go pray somewhere. If you listen, you'll be a better American. I think I heard one of the funniest things I ever uttered on TV last night. Tom Brokaw was doing a special about the planning and background of the attacks. That was a great show. Talking about Muhammad Atta and living in Hamburg, Germany. He started attending a radical Muslim mosque. And in this apartment behind me, he started holding late-night prayer session vigils with a group of like-minded men. The third chapter of the Hamburg Jacks. Perhaps you remember the last time we heard about like-minded men.
The Hamburg Jacks.
The San Francisco Jacks.
The Hamburg Jacks.
Jennifer says, "Thank you so much for your rebroadcast. I got up early, so I wouldn't miss any of it. I must have been in shock last year because after listening to your show, this seems so much more horrible than I remember.
No.
I'm listening with a different perspective. Drew, don't feel bad. I didn't even know what or where the World Trade Center was until a year ago. All the flags are half-staffed, so I was driving. What a weird feeling that was. We've got a lot of calls today, too, about the lack of commercial airliners in the sky. There are commercial flights, of course, going on. There just aren't that many. And there were some flights, not flights, but a lot of people were canceling their flights, even on Spirit, their free flights, because The alert is now at what? Orange, is it? Is orange high?
I don't know.
Second highest level.
I just consider it always
Next one
to be
is
high.
red, and that means it's severe risk. So.
But it's as high as it's been.
It's higher than it's ever been.
And
Because of these threats from Al Qaeda, they received some from some senior official inside of Al Qaeda, and they've cross-checked some of their communications, and they say that it's, something that was just exactly like it was when it was brewing early in September of last year.
Yeah, some of the same type of language, the same feeling and sort of thing as they were used to hearing at that time. How about these surface-to-air missiles that they've got around D.C.? Can you believe that?
Rum's had
that would freak me out a little bit.
He had the advanced security defense system deployed already, and then he at the last minute decided, let's get the Stinger missiles out of the old storage rooms and roll them out too. So he did that, dusted them off, and loaded those missiles, live missiles.
Does it surprise you, though, that there's all this information about it? Like yesterday they were saying, and also tomorrow there will be surface-to-air missiles surrounding the D.C. area. I don't know. I wish they'd just quietly go ahead and do that.
I know. They don't have to just spout off and tell the whole world.
Maybe they're just trying to deter anybody who might be thinking that's a great idea to celebrate the anniversary. For terrorism's sake, and we'll jump in a plane with that mission in mind.
Well, I think you should just tell them there's surface-to-air missiles everywhere.
Honestly,
U.S. And then anybody who's going to go anywhere, well, I guess we better cancel.
Yeah, because we don't know where they are.
Just say it every day.
No, I think you really should.
Yeah.
No, I think you should. And just, make it seem like they're, God knows, they're all over the place. Sure.
Here's, let's see.
Makes sense.
All the federal air marshals are going to be on flights today, which means that, yes, there are flights coming and going from Metro.
That also means that they're not all the flights every other day.
Well, you don't know that, but they...
Well, if it's news that they're on every flight today...
They're not supposed to say when they're on and which ones they're on.
Yeah.
And that's part of their, air marshal gig, but... that means there are folks in and out of Metro, though. I called Michael Conway at the airport, and when I said, people are saying that there's no commercial air traffic today, he laughed, because I guess planes have been taken off all morning. They're just not loaded. There's just, some empty seats on those
People are used to seeing a certain amount of traffic, and they're not seeing it, so... anyway, you're brought to us by Napa Auto Parts. Be sure to visit your local Napa Auto Parts store and register to win a Harley-Davidson gear prize pack and a key that may start a brand new Harley-Davidson Sportster from Motor City Harley-Davidson, Farmington Hills.
And on those planes, Spirit Airline planes in particular, I guess seats are full because of the Spirit Airline offer to let people fly free today, just as thanks for flying, for continuing to fly. As far as Conway knows, there were no F-16s around Metro Airport this morning. He thought, he says, World War II planes, part of a ceremony, a flyby near Michigan Memorial Park, which is south of the airport, with some smoke streaming. That may explain some of the reports that people had of somebody flying a kind of a mission that might have looked like a combat jet. As far as he knows, they have been having normal traffic at Metro Airport, no glitches so far. They've been passing out American Spirit pins in the shape of ribbons with stars and stripes on them, thanking people who braved the airways today, and a moment of silence at the airport at all terminals. At 8:46, employees reciting the Pledge of Allegiance afterwards. Seemed really like a minute was too short a space of time this morning to be silent in memory of 2,801 people who were killed at the Trade Center, but it started out that way in New York City as bagpipers from all directions of the 5 boroughs converged at once at Ground Zero. Then the reading of the names of those killed in the Trade Center. Among some of the readers, you probably saw Hillary Clinton up there. And you also saw Robert De Niro.
Michael L. Collins, Thomas J. Cohen, Joseph Collison, Jeffrey Dwayne Coleman, Patricia Malia Kolodner, Linda M. Colon, Saul E. Colon.
They paused at 9:03 to ring bells at Ground Zero.
I wanted to hear Hillary Clinton.
At the moment of the second plane striking the
Todd
tower.
Beamer!
And then we had the sound down. She looked like she was being quite humble this morning.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. The second moment of silence. Well, and then the bells ringing for the second tower.
Oh, okay.
In memory of that. this morning, and one thing that they did point out that I thought was just intense was that 2,000 children lost parents on this day last year.
Terrible.
Detroit is
Do you have tape
reevaluating.
of Hillary, by the way?
Sorry.
we might have it on TiVo somewhere. I gotta hear that.
Probably.
Jeremy Glick! She's being booed at the 9/11 concert.
Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for supporting New York. Thank you for your generosity on behalf of all the people who are going to need help for a long time to come. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce a video from someone who has a lot to say about New York who couldn't be here tonight. Please join me in welcoming Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, I forgot it was that loud. I can't believe she was screaming over those people.
What time is it now?
It's 10:13.
Okay. Because at 10:06 was the ceremony in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's what's taking place now. They just had President Bush speaking, and he's going to speak again tonight here from Ellis Island, addressing the nation with a Statue of Liberty.
Taped on 60 Minutes, too, and I guess he just goes mad. Pounding the desk and tears streaming down his face.
Yeah, I think he embodies the range of emotions that he thinks that the country is having, too, and it's all coming out of his body.
That's what I keep reading, is the incredible range of emotion our president shows on the broadcast. Every account of that has said the same thing, and so I'm thinking he wasn't quite done. He said, "Now, what range of emotion haven't I? Is there any range I haven't shown yet?" I don't think you've shown frustration. Okay, I see.
Did you see Rumsfeld at the Pentagon by any chance this morning at that ceremony?
So I'm squinting. Oh.
Was that a look that could kill any terrorist that came within 50 yards of him?
Oh, was he blistering?
He just looked very steely at that ceremony at the Pentagon, where they restored the wall, the outer ring of the Pentagon. Detroit reevaluating its readiness for any terrorism. 2 police and firefighters are training to handle chemical and biological attacks. They might want to keep an extra eye on the water department. Part of that little water rates increase might have been paying for the security detail that they had out there. $3.7 million in the contract that has now just been canceled by the guy in charge of the water department. It paid guys like Jerry Bradford, who, according to the Detroit News, was 10 minutes before his shift was over in his car, rear-ending another vehicle, and when he got out for the field sobriety check, fell down. The Detroit Water Chief, Victor Mercado, flew into action on Monday and terminated the contract with the company that provides security. Wall Street, is it up and running quite yet? It's supposed to be at about 11 o'clock. Before they get that act together today, they're going to wait to the end of all the memorials. Since last year, the American Red Cross, too, has reevaluated how it handles collections of blood during disasters. And this year, they say they will vow to connect with each other in the instance of disaster so that they can avoid an oversupply of blood as they had to dispose of all of the extra blood that they collected last year around this time. Steven Tyler
Can you see
sang the national anthem on September 29th, which will be the occasion of the Dennis Leary Celebrity Hat Trick benefit in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Wait, this is his future anthem?
That's his future anthem. What do you think you're doing?
That's so cool, Trudy.
This is the Indianapolis 500.
Okay, I thought so.
It's an example of what it's going to sound like when he's singing the national anthem there at this memorial benefit. Worcester, Massachusetts, pretty incredible event because they invite all kinds of people to come play hockey, and so far have collected $470,000 to give to the families of firefighters. Dennis Leary feels very inextricably linked with Irish firefighters. Tyler, whose tour continues to roll, says, despite all of our loss and heartbreak, it's made us like a fist in this country, stronger.
In the sense that there's always some good that comes out of bad. This is uniting people. I just hope that we really unite. You know, I've seen the bars across the doors on the planes. It's like, as if. So we have to get serious with stuff and make some changes and some serious changes. And I just hope that America's ready for that.
And the new issue of Celebrity Skin magazine is out.
Oh, is it?
Survey.
Where's mine?
Huh? Did you subscribe to Celebrity Skin?
We tend to get it in the mail almost every time.
Well, they're calling Callista Flockhart and Kerry Russell the least sexy stars on TV, sort of a list to make us all forget about all of our troubles. At the other end of this list, the sexiest women of TV, historically, Farrah Fawcett is at the top with Susan Day. They're tied. And Dukes of Hazzard, Catherine Bach, part of Party at Five's Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Pam Anderson round out the top 5. Trudy Daniels with Freckled Radio News.
You know what I haven't felt today? I'm thinking about the rage of the vortex, the rage of emotions that are available today. I have not felt that much anger today.
No?
You're on a low Schwartz cup, maybe they'll up my anger a little bit.
Well, you did sort of rave quite a bit after 9/11 last year.
Well, yeah, I was very pissed, and, I mean, beyond furious. How can you possibly even categorize how evil that was, and just what a cheap shot, and how innocent those people were that were hit.
Well, and then when you find out the things that they had been hatching all along in some of the plots, and how we didn't catch some of that. And
I ended up feeling like we were a little booby in the whole thing, and you see what the guy that knew about the people in flight school and his concern, that FBI agent was a real crack shot, and then last night finding out that we were intercepting phone calls. We were actually listening to Saddam Hussein. We were listening to Osama bin Laden and some of the transmissions that he was making, and then someone leaked that to the media, and that information became available to him, and he stopped using the telephone.
Oh,
at the end of last summer, and so that may be one of the reasons that plan was allowed to continue. And you get really pissed off at our own incompetence, but I think that the human spirit and some of the incredible things and the people who are carrying on, you have mothers, single moms now, or widowed mothers with 3 or 4 kids, people that were pregnant. You can imagine being pregnant and losing somebody. I mean, somebody that you really care about. I mean, that you're really tight with at a time like that, and seeing them carry on, it just I don't know. It carries the day for me more than just being PO'd. I mean, there's plenty of time to be PO'd at these idiots.
Even some of those people who were saying goodbye to their children by way of telephone from the tower, too. Heartbreaking all at once.
Yeah, the woman who's on the phone with her husband who's on the 105th floor after he was on 96 and he was headed down, and she thought the next time he talked to him he'd be in 30 or 40 or something, and when he calls back she's saying, "Oh God, it's you," and he's, "Where are you?" 105th floor. Smoke was too thick and had to go up. He's going to the roof. Bad call, hopeless call. And
but not knowing what to do.
She's with him on the phone the whole time until smoke got too thick. She actually, he left the phone at one point to go try and kick this door open, which he couldn't get open. The door was locked.
So she's hearing all of this?
He's hearing all this. He came back to the phone.
Excruciating.
Oh, it was just unbelievable. But that really, I think, carried the day for me. Mike, did you feel as pissed off as you did last year?
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, actually, I was going to say that. It makes me mad all over again, but I'm almost like glad that I'm this mad because I need a shot in the arm to want to go after this whole issue all over again, because I've been getting more and more distressed with all the inconveniences.
It's very cumbersome.
Yeah,
it's a lot of information.
Right, and I've been kind of resenting it.
Take it easy.
Getting bogged down by it and bothered by it and all this, but then all of a sudden this stuff comes along and just kind of reinvigorates you with it all, It's like, you son of a bitch.
Mark and I talk about the articles in Time and Newsweek every week, because we both get the magazine, and that always has the really monumental pieces where they really put a lot of things together for you that I think you need to know to make intelligent, or at least come to intelligent conclusions about, how you should feel about certain events related to this, or certain actions that the country needs to take or not to take. And the articles are really long, and some are kind of boring, and it's sort of like, oh God, I wish this issue would just go away so I don't have to read all these stupid long articles in Time magazine. You really start to feel sorry for yourself in the most trivial ways. But then, when you see how all these people have managed to hold themselves together, it's, you realize how pitiful that is.
It's unreal. It's amazing the work that they did accomplish, too, in 1 year, isn't it? When you look at those buildings that were up and all that devastation, all that gray ash and smoke and everything else. Now you look at that area now. Basically a sterile it is, really.
What are they doing now, Mike?
These are the people. Isn't this in Pennsylvania?
Manuel.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, they're reading the names in Flight 93, I think.
Yeah.
What?
No. They're just talking about having another moment of silence.
Oh, they're having. Oh, okay, I see. In PA. Some more of the emails. No, this guy's ragging me. You sound pretty silly not knowing there were 2 towers. You should not worry about making that mistake again.
Oh, well, you know, must have been in New York and you're all familiar with that. I mean, you know, what the hell? Come on.
Here's Trent says,
That's crap.
Your subtle humor gives us a smile on an otherwise very somber day, and we're enjoying the rebroadcast as well.
Boy, lots of emails. We've got the email in our office as well.
Here's somebody saying,
People are digging it.
Hey guys, have you checked out the Only Undies Club? Make sure to go to the bras section. Here's somebody who's completely business as usual.
Yeah, right. Completely out of the loop.
9/11 pictures. I was talking about the people who never ever got one iota of their son back. 27-year-old who went to work. No phone call, no email, no body. No hand, no leg, no watch, no briefcase, no nothing. And they found a picture of people leaning out broken windows, and they thought he was in that picture. He had it enhanced and even played with the pixels and whatnot. And his mother said that many times she had forgotten her keys, and he would lean out the window upstairs and go, hey, Mom, throw the keys. And she said she had this almost feeling of deja vu and showed the picture like, that's how he looks, that's him. And they were debating whether this was not just some desperate mental effort on the part of these parents
for closure.
For some kind of closure. But they really think it's the photo of him, and he was shirtless, as were a number of the people leaning out the building. And so, they were probably so hot. And then 2 people emailed and said they're probably shirtless because they were stuffing cracks in the door.
Stuffing underneath the door. Like they tell you at hotels, right, to put it under water or whatever. By a sink or whatever, keep everything wet underneath the door and all that.
There's somebody complaining like, quit with the stupid drops already today.
I'm glad you decided to do this, but if you're going to play the drops, I'm going to change the dial till tomorrow. Very disrespectful.
And then we have someone else who says they're trying to stop crying. They were laughing so hard at one of the drops.
Take it easy.
Thanks for the coverage when I'm at work and you're killing me. I'm sitting here hiding my eyes behind my comp screen so no one can see me crying. That's from Ray.
So much email. People have real